Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Etheria Restart video. So in today's video, guys, we're going over everything matrices. We're going to be talking about the combinations that you're able to do depending on where you're at in your account and what type of modules you can farm. And then we're also going to talk about shell combinations, okay? So I wanted to talk about this for a couple of reasons. First of all, I got a comment from a commenter named Robbie Bubble. This is a pretty nice comment where I was talking about breaking into Hell 3 and Hell 4 and what people really need to do, and I really had a strong emphasis on shells. And Robbie said, why does everyone say shells are so important, but no one ever talks about the kind of set combos? So I thought that was a good comment, and it's something that I will address here today. I think set combos tend to be more important once you're able to farm triple matrices, more so than double matrices. So, with that being said, let's kind of just jump into this, okay? Now, all of the matrices available to you are here in the archive. We have a bunch of different combinations to get a bunch of different effects, right? You have a 12-piece set in most of the categories. So you have one in attack, you have one in healing, you have one in defense, and then you have one in speed. So those are the baseline matrix effects, right? Swift Rush, Unbreakable, Wellspring, and then Onslaught. And as you progress through the game then gives you some other 12-piece matrix sets like Keen Eye, Momentum. You have stuff like Bloodbath, you have stuff like Time Weave, all of those things. So then more 12 set matrices become available. And then you also get the option at 8 or even 6. So there's a bunch of different things you can do with your matrices depending on how far you are in the game, what sets are available to you, and so on and so forth. So depending on where you're at, right? So the first thing you need to know is in your modules, if you're able to only farm up to Hell 1 and Hell 2, or even before that, where double matrix drops are the only thing available to you. You need to know what your best type of matrix combinations are. So when you only have the ability to have 2 matrix modules available to you, the best combinations you can do are as following, because you have a max of 18 matrices available to you. How I got this number is you have the ability to farm shells at this point, most likely, that you're getting triple matrix drops for 2 different matrix bonuses, right? So you can have like a triple onslaught drop and a triple harvest drop. So there's 6. And then you have 6 pieces of gear on your heroes, which then allow you to get 12 more matrix bonuses. So you'll be able to put a 2-piece here, 2-piece here, so on and so forth. So that's another 12. So you're getting 12 from your gear, and you're getting 6 from your shells. So that gets you 18. So the best matrix combinations you can get yourself is a 12-4 bonus. So you can do like Onslaught and Harvest and get just a bunch of attack percentage. You can do an 8 and 8. So that means you can do something along the lines of like Fury and Harvest. And I'm talking about just the attack stuff because it's at the top, right? But you can also do the combinations here as well. Like you can do a Wellspring Cure with the 10% HP here. So you have 55% HP. You get the point. So yeah, you can do an 8 and 8. You can do an 8 and 6. So you can do like a Harvest and a Momentum for the crit rate. Or you can do a 6-6-4 or a 8-6. So that means like a Momentum, Keen Eye, and Onslaught. Or you can do an 8-6, which is like a Harvest and Momentum. You know, something along those lines. Now, when it comes to your shells at this point, you really don't need to be too picky with your drops because you're limited on the min-maxing that you can do with your matrix creativity per se. I would say a decent general rule of thumb when it comes to your shells is you want to have at least 2 matrices available to you on your shell. So if you have a double matrix drop on one of your shells and then another double matrix drop on the same shell. So let's see if we can find like a 2. So a 2 and a 2, like this would be perfectly fine. You're okay to keep this because in this instance, you have a 12-piece set and you have an 8-piece set. So if you wanted to put this on a hero and you wanted to have 12 Swift Rush, you could. You could have this shell attached to your hero, and then you could have 5 pieces of gear with 2 Matrix Swift Rush, and you'll get your 12% or your 12 Matrix bonus, netting you the 35% speed. And if you have a 2-piece Strive piece, you'll also get 10% defense. So it works out. That's one of those instances where you're meeting the 12-4 matrix bonus criteria. So at a bare minimum, you really want to have 2 and 2. There are some instances where like 3-1 is okay, but you'll have to mix and match, right? Like I said, at the very beginning, when you only have the 2 matrix modules available to you, it's a lot less requirements on what you're looking for on your shells per se. Now, whenever you jump up to the Hell 3 and Hell 4 stages where the triple matrices are available to you, this is where things get a little more interesting. Because what's available to you then are some really interesting combinations. The first and most important one, I would say, is the 12-12 combination. This puts a lot of pressure on your modules and your shells, though, to be perfect, okay? You need the triple matrix drop on your modules, and you need the triple matrix drops on your shells. So if we take a look at some of my shells, like case in point is something like this. Oh, nope, sorry, wrong one. Okay, let's say that the Evil Guard wasn't here, right? A Swift Rush Time Weave piece on this Gigabyte is awesome because it gives me the option to have 12 Matrix bonus on the Swift Rush and the 12 Matrix bonus on Time Weave. So if I wanted to build a character like Kachi the Guard, I've got triple Swift Rush, triple Time Weave, and I have all triple matrices of my speed. So I've got 9 matrices here plus the 3 from my shell. I got 9 matrices here of Time Weave plus 3 from the shell. This is an amazing PvE combination. Super fast, a lot of accuracy, and the ability to reduce your skill cooldown. But all of this depends on you having the triple matrix pieces for your gear and on your shell. Now, it's not all bad. Because you do have the ability to do like an 886 where you don't need the triple matrix on your shell, but you're just making things a lot harder for yourself at that point because you're going to be farming shells a lot, and it's going to be way easier for you to get the triple matrix on them than hunting for a really perfect piece for your modules, which is why I've said you really want to focus on shells. It's why I say it all the time. So that's an interesting thing. Now let's go back to the other combinations that you're able to do. So the other combinations that you're able to do in this realm is an 886. So you can do Fury where you're landing more crit, you're ignoring defense, and then you have the ability to add some crit damage or crit rate. That's an extremely powerful combination in something like PvP. You also have the 6-6-12. So if you wanted to, you could do Momentum with the crit rate, the Keen Eye with the crit damage, and get 45% attack from the Onslaught. But again, that's another instance where you're going to need triple matrices on everything. So if you have a triple matrix module drop, a triple matrix kenai drop, and you have a shell that has both a triple kenai and triple momentum, you only needed one piece of kenai and momentum to fulfill the 6 matrix bonus, right? So then you have 4 slots available to you on your Animus. Let's give you some visuals here. So your momentum piece goes here. So you got a momentum piece here. Let's say you have a kenai piece over here. And you have a shell that has momentum and kenai. So you've already hit the 6% bonus. Now you have 4 spots left to put in your 12 onslaughts, right? You can do 12 here. 3 here. You can do 3 here. 3 here. And a triple here. And now you have your 12 onslaught. You have your 6 momentum and your 6 kenai. Very strong build. Very nice, right? So those are some pretty powerful combinations. Now, when you get to the end game and you're able to farm Inferno shells and you're able to farm Inferno dungeons, where you have the ability to get these specialized cores. The specialized cores only drop in Inferno, and they're only right side pieces, okay? They can't be a helmet, a chest piece, or a glove, or whatever the shield is, right? Only right side. And they're always 6 piece. The only way to get a shell that is like this, right, is in the Inferno stages of shell dungeons. The nice thing is with this game, so it's hard for us to find pieces like this, okay? The shell drops are rare. However, the nice thing is whenever they drop these specialized core matrices, it will always be a 9-piece matrix set. I haven't seen one drop where that hasn't been the case, and there's no way I'm that lucky. So whenever they do drop the specialized core in this 3rd slot, everything else will be 3-piece. So that's awesome. The other thing that I wanted to mention here is this 3rd slot can only be the specialized core bonuses. So only the Inferno specialized core drops will fit in this 3rd slot. None of the other matrices will be in that 3rd spot. Like you won't be able to find Swift Rush here, or you won't be able to find, Onslaught in this, or Kenai or Harvest. It's always going to be the specialized cores. So when you get to this spot where Inferno stages of shells, which start at Nico Nana, and then you're farming Inferno stages of Threshold, the best matrix combination is 12-8-6. Because you have 27 matrices available to you, you don't have enough spots to utilize this full thing. This is the best you can come up with, which is 26 total matrices. And this is where your shells start getting more specific. And what I mean by that is once you get to this point, there are going to be junk shells, even if they do roll into the specialized core drop. Let me explain. Let's say White Fang here. If you have a White Fang that drops Harvest and Fury as your first 2 matrix bonuses, and then you get a Fury Edge, okay? All you're utilizing here is 8, 8, and 6, which is what, 22 matrices? Not good. You can't fit in anything else really because you run out of the room. So what you need to look for, this is the best case scenario, is you have the 12-piece onslaught. You can have any 12-piece set, right? You can have any 12-piece set and then an 8-piece. Another instance of this that you can do is you can also have a 6 piece and a 6 piece. So Keen Eye and Momentum is actually very universal, and you can mix and match a lot of things with Keen Eye and Momentum. Now, a lot of people associate Keen Eye and Momentum with attack damage dealers, but these are perfect pieces to put on a defense dealing hero because, and this is why I like White Fang and why I think Nico Nana is such a great shell dungeon to farm. It's so universal. All four of these shells are great, but White Fang can actually be put on a defense scaling hero. Let's say in this case, right? You get a momentum and a keen eye and a fury edge. So all 6-piece sets. So your defense dealer will have all right side pieces in this instance, let's say, of keen eye, one module spot. Then you have momentum on the second module spot, and then you have fury edge on the third. So your defense damage dealer is getting 12% crit rate, 18% crit damage, and then another 12% crit rate and 20% crit damage. So on that full left side, your defense dealing damage dealer now has the ability to go into something like he could either do Bramble on the left side or Unbreakable. So Unbreakable would give him an 8-piece set, right? So he would get 25% additional defense on top of the crit rate, crit damage that he got on that right side. The other great thing about White Fang is White Fang doesn't increase attack or anything like that. All he does is deal 2 hits equal to 100% damage, and then he increases the crit damage if you crit. So your defense dealer can actually run this. The downside to White Fang versus something like Artisan is his defense here is a lot lower than an Artisan, right? So your defense dealers want defense to deal more damage, but I'm just saying when it comes to Artisan, the available matrices to you, you don't have momentum and fury available to you. So you can't put the crit rate and crit damage. It might be a lot harder to get 100% crit out of your defense dealing damage dealer, which is really interesting. So there's a lot of mix and matching that you can do that maybe people didn't realize. The only other available shell that I think is more universal is Golden Lion. So Golden Lion can both have Keen Eye and Momentum. And then he also has the ability to get Bramble, but also Fury Edge. So him and White Fang are the only ones where I think you can have the benefit of this on a defense scaling damage dealer. You can also do it with like an HP scaling damage dealer. That's another thing that should not be overlooked. Same thing with your White Fang here. All the other stuff like Revelation scales off attack. This gives you an attack. And then this also boosts your attack. So that's kind of irrelevant, for your defense scalers to base that off of. The last thing I'll say about your matrix bonuses and the things you want to look out for is certain shells only have certain combinations, especially whenever you go into your Inferno stages where you're farming. Like let's say on Aurora, you see this Swift Smite specialized core. You're like, wow, 15% speed and effect accuracy. That is great for a support debuffer who wants to go really fast and land some debuffs. So in your archive, you want to go down to your Swift Smite and see what shells are available to you. So maybe you wanted to put your support hero on, or your debuffer on Gigabyte, right? Which you can farm in Inferno. Sadly, Gigabyte doesn't have the ability to drop Swift Smite. So what else can you do? Well, Jackal Guard's a pretty nice option because Jackal Guard also has Swift Rush and Time Weave, just like Gigabyte. But now Jackal Guard allows you to go faster, where Gigabyte doesn't give you that option. So you're going to have to then start targeting different shells once it comes to the Inferno farming stages. Dark Moon's another nice one where you can do a Swift Rush Time Weave with Swift Smite, so additional speed. You can be just as fast in Dark Moon as you can be in Jackal Guard, except here you're getting more effect accuracy. You're dealing 2 hits and then you're extending your debuffs. So if it's a defense down or speed down or attack down, this is a really nice option. This gives you some turn meter boosting with speed up, along with another attack. So that's another whole added dimension, to the matrices. I'll say though, on a general comment purpose, I think it's quite straightforward the type of combinations that you should look for in the end game with the Inferno stuff, like your defense scaling heroes. You probably want to maximize Colossal Guard. You can certainly maximize something like Aether Plague to give uh your Holden a little bit more bulk and effect accuracy because he benefits from both of those things. He also benefits from Swift Smite. But let's look again at Swift Smite. Is there any like you don't have the ability to use an artisan here, right? What about Aether Plague? Does Artisan hold Aether Plague? Artisan does. Okay, so now you have a little bit more bulk while also getting the effect accuracy. So you're giving up, some of the speed that you could put on your defense nuker for more bulk and still getting the effect accuracy. What about Swift Raid? Okay, see, Artisan also does not wear that. I know Artisan wears Colossal Guard because that's a defense specialized core. And what about Fury Edge? He doesn't. Like I said, that's why Golden Lion is really nice in this instance, and White Fang should not be underutilized. You miss out on a couple hundred defense, but in the end, there's a lot of really cool mixing and matching that's available to you. So I think the most important thing for you guys to remember is this combination. When you're Hell 2 and below, where you can't get the triple matrices, these are the best matrix combinations to you. When it comes to your Health 3 and Health 4, so let's put that here, maybe. Oh, I can't edit it. Anyway, so this is Hell 2 and below. This is Hell 3 and up. And then this is Inferno for both shell and modules. Okay? Those are the best combinations, guys. I hope this was helpful. I hope you enjoyed. Remember, utilize this matrix archive. This is extremely helpful to see which shells have what the bonuses are, all of those things. You can also go in and you can click on the shell and see the matrices available to them there. So, play around. Maybe there's something that you're missing. Maybe there's a better matrix combination that you weren't really thinking of or thought was available to you. So I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.